What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and just to continue this series from the previous one, after we got the keys, immediately within 1 or 2 days I got in the team from the Makeover guys for a site visit. We immediately got to work, and I realized a lot of people have absolutely no clue on how to do renovation. This is kind of my flow to it. And just to clarify, I am attached with the team at the Makeover guys, therefore I don't have to really compare prices to pick the right renovators, because all of my other units has been done up by them, also managed by them. So to me, that's my default choice. So after you engage the team, what will happen is they will somewhat get the area size of the location of the number of rooms, but the most important thing will be the intention of the project. Is it for own stay or is it for investment? The team will actually conduct a site visit to get a rough measurement of the floor plan, because that dictates a lot of things. For example, the size of the furnitures, especially your kitchen cabinets, if you want built-ins and things like that, is all calculated by dimension. The more you want to cover, the more it will cost. Then there's this debate about how accurate is the estimated quotation. Because the team has done up easily about 80 to 100 units a month, their cost is pretty accurate unless you want custom. If you want custom built things, then the sky is the limit, right? Or actually your bank account is the limit. So after the site visit, the team will actually sit down and discuss with you on the function. So since this is the own stay, they sat down with me and asked about the arrangement of space. Are you going to use the second bedroom as a bedroom, or are you going to use it as a study room? So this is when we need to tell the designers on what we have in mind, so they will advise accordingly, right? After that, they will provide this estimation of cost where they kind of break down into different parts. So here, this is for my unit, right? The first part is actually the general works, where you can see there's a feature wall design where it's considered a premium grade level. Theme is mid-century, daydream, even the lighting works, even the preliminaries. This is where it involves the protection of the existing materials like the flooring, the walls, and etc. And please bear in mind that this is still the preliminary stage where everything is still just guesstimation, like additional wiring works, right? Like how many extra plug points you want to install in your room. Then part 2, this will be the furnitures and fittings, and here you will have the living room, and now you kind of have a few things only, the coffee table, the TV console, and the settee, right? So unless you want special designer furniture, then it's a whole different price range altogether. A lot of people opt to have a designer piece in their house. So you can actually tell the designer your preference, or you can just get one from our own in-house brand called Dook. Entirely up to you. But for the design of my home, we kind of made a choice to eliminate the living room. Instead, we made it into a kids playroom or a family space instead, where we hang out with our kids. To an extent that we don't even want to have a TV console, we are going to install the TV in some portable thingy where it can be shifted here and there. It's easier to somewhat control their electronic time, their screen time. Then we have a dining set as well. Moving to the master bedroom, where again, because of their experience, they have done this so many times. Basically, it's the fixed few elements like bed, bedside table, bed frame, dressing table, dressing mirror, and etc. Moving on then, for bedroom 2, I use it as a workstation. Here, curtains and blinds, decoration, soft furnishing and styling, and others, right? So your shoe cabinet, or you want built-in cabinet, then your grill, your smart lock, and etc. Part 3 then will be the kitchen, and because this developer actually provided the kitchen, but we felt that it's insufficient, it's not big enough. Then last of all will be the electrical appliances, and this is when we will truly understand the difference between developer providing aircon versus aircon point only, because the cost is rather significant. So here we already spec'd out all the prices and a separate installation price. I must say, aircon not cheap, not cheap. So if you get it directly from the developer, they kind of put it into the SPA price. That includes the furnishing as well for the kitchen cabinet. If you are having less cash in your hands, then you will find the packages provided by developers way more friendlier actually. So it depends what you want. Then after the first meetup, they will send me this order confirmation where it's divided into parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, everything, and it's all broken down. Okay, so we have yet to set the electrical appliances, and this is when you somewhat has a guesstimation. Like here is already 52,000, and the payment terms are also very clear. So the first payment is 50%, then 40% and 10%. Well, because the team has been within the industry for very long and the track record is solid, therefore the team also acquired facilities from the bank to provide installment payment without interest. So that's a good thing always, especially for people who has less cash on hand. Then after making the first payment, so that kind of kickstart the whole entire design process very seriously already. This is when the design team will actually come in and they will do another detailed site measurements and transfer everything into drawings really. But this is when I express a lot of my own ideas. For example, personally I don't like the doors around the area, so when I come into the unit I see a lot of doors. The storage door, the bedroom door, the yard door, and something about the yard as well. So if we think about 1,000 per square feet, right, that's the market price of today lah. And the door swing within the yard itself is about 3 feet by 3 feet. Okay, so that's about 9 to 10 square feet already. So it's about 10,000 ringgit just by allocating the area for the swing of a door within the yard space. And the yard space of the unit, because the unit is not very big also, that's why it's very limited. It's very hard to work with. Therefore, I kind of want to change that door into a sliding door. I want to change the storage door into a hidden door. That includes the master bedroom's door as well. So this is when we put in way more design input along with the extra storage space. How do we put our shoes? And something about this unit design as well, the foyer area is very limited, where I don't get to put in a shoe cabinet, which is didn't notice that in the first purchase. Like even after buying so many units, right, we still make mistakes and we learn from it. All this will be transferred into drawings. This is the example, okay? So what we can see here, the furnitures will be in grey, right? And the yellow part will be the built-ins. So as you can see here, we kind of changed the top cabinets a little bit. We played around with the location of the fridge here. There was a debate between the location of the dining table. Is it here up front, or is it within the counter, which is a bit silly lah. So then I think this was the best one, which also displayed in their show unit. So sometimes a good thing is to keep the drawings or the design from the initial show units of the developer just as reference, right? So they have already measured everything, and by right, technically the market practice is everything is in accordance to the unit that they will be selling. Yes, there will be cases where some developers, the show unit, right, height a little bit different, width a little bit different, but very rare since we start measuring the show unit already. So the designer kind of suggested to add this wide panel here to camouflage the entire wall here. Then we include a built-in cabinet within the master bedroom. We redo the entire interior of the storage area, because now it's just one piece without the compartments, right? It's not very functional. So we seek for advice, and this is the outcome lah. Also, something about the bathrooms is the vanity top, the vanity cabinet. So now they give only a basin. Sometimes when you put your cleaning detergents or tissue, extra tissue rolls or whatsoever, right, there's no place to put. So this is where they also advise. To me, I'm kind of proud of this particular part here. So if you look into the yard space here, instead of the door swinging out, I kind of change it into a sliding door. Suddenly this entire yard space becomes very functional. So for the washer and dryer, we chose a wash tower by LG. Then it's all, the entire thing is integrated, but mainly it's because not enough space. So the constraint for the small unit like this is not enough space. So every inch or square inch count. Then we also covered the yard opening here for better privacy. And for the extra bedroom right now we are just using it as my YouTube studio, and this is where I work the entire day lah. Okay, so for bedroom 3, just for guests or storage temporarily. Also, this is in accordance to the advice of my feng shui guy. So the feng shui guy, when I got this drawing, I will then send back to him to remeasure everything, right? Is this the right place to work? Is this the right place to sleep? Is this the right direction? Although nothing much can be changed structurally, but there will be small minor things. If you can avoid, then avoid lor. Then one of the crucial points within the discussion is about the strict ruling about no hacking within the unit. So for those who are not sure about cablings, so for example, your fan point provided, what happens if the location of my fan within my design is not what was given? I will then need to pull the wire out to relocate the fan, right? There's only two ways to do it. One is to bracket it by laying down the cable. Then there will be a very hideous bracket. The white cover in the whole house you do very nicely. Then you have this very weird brackets around, aesthetically not very pleasing. Another way conventionally is people will just hack a certain level within the ceiling, so you can consider the wiring inside. It will look way more tidy, but due to the strict ruling, then I guess we need to respect it. Therefore, I opt for a plaster ceiling. If it's for investment, I don't really care. Just locate everything based on the original design intent, because pretty much it's the same. But when this is a personal home design, then earn so much, put some money, right? So to make it more aesthetically pleasing, it also provides flexibility for lighting points. So now your lighting strategy can be a little bit more dramatic. That makes more sense when you put a lot of money to the wall design as well. Okay, so this is how the drawing looks like. We extended the plaster ceiling to the main hall as well as the principal bedroom. Then another crucial point will be about the window coverage. So technically, we can just opt for all curtains. But because of the design that I chose, it was a little bit more timber, a little bit more, I also don't know how to describe, because actually it's all advised by the designer. They say that it will be easier to manage. That's music to my ears. Then it will be more aesthetically pleasing, less maintenance, right? But I guess the benefit of picking the Makeover guys here, then because they have this brand new experience center located in M Hub, Kota Damansara, that really helped. Like for me, I don't need that experience center because I've been doing this all my life. But for my spouse, my wife, right, then it becomes very, very helpful. I don't know how wide is 3 meters. I don't know what bamboo feels like. I don't know what timber looks like, right? So how does it feel? How does it operate and all these kind of things? The entire experience center will be very, very helpful. But for husbands who are going to bring your other half into the experience center, right, be very cautious because a lot of emotions will be triggered. Wow, this one's so nice one. Oh, your unit can do like that, especially when you are doing your home, a place where you're going to stay in for very, very long. Then sometimes the budget, right, will overflow most of the time. Okay, so unless you have very strict budget, you just really need to work within. You need very good self-control. That's all I'm saying. Here we kind of pick 3 things. For bedroom, we picked to have the curtains. For the living space, we pick blinds. For my workspace, we pick blinds. Then for the extra bedroom, I just chin-chai. Now it comes to carpentry work, and this is a whole science altogether. Okay, so this one you really gotta be very clear of what you want, because it's one of the main costs actually for the entire renovation. Like without any wet work, so this is the only most complicated work. First, you need to determine the usage of the cabinet. Is it for storage? Then if you want to store things, what are you going to store? Then if it's a work area, for example, it's an extension of the kitchen, you think about where you put your rice cooker, hot water dispenser, your whatever oven. So this is where we kind of debated. We also wanted to have a dishwasher, but too bad the unit too small. Buy a new house lah. So this is how we need to work with. Then after laying out the area, this is where the complication starts, like colors, compartments, and the designers will actually take your body height of the main user of the space. So like they get the height for my kid, myself and my wife to kind of fix the right levels of the platform to work with. Again, if you have a little bit more budget, what kind of mechanism you want within? Is it a fold-in? Is it you have compartment or dividers within the compartment itself? Some even it's automated and things like that, right? Everything is within the experience center, and it's very easy to get carried away once again. So I like to always tie back to how much is it, right? Back to reality. Cost is reality. The same applies to the built-in cabinets of the bedroom itself. So do you want floating type? What are you going to do on both sides? What are you going to store? Is it for watches? Is it for dresses? Is it for long pants? Whatever lah. And this is the benefit of built-ins, right? It's way more solid, it's way more customized. Therefore, the amount of time for discussion, for design is longer. Therefore, it's way more expensive. For investment units, they will be just loose type, right? Then call it a day. For own use, a very, very different approach. That's why the intention for the unit needs to be very, very clear. This is the main cost component for the entire unit lah, because of my very selfish preference of not liking the door. Designer proposed is to have this entire board for the longest wall within the unit. Okay, and because I have a kid that is very playful, the intent of the living room is to be a play area, so we kind of opt to have this pack board design where it's flexible. So in accordance to his growth, we can always use it very differently. When he is within his teenagers, then maybe it's my turn. I don't know. But what I personally like is the swing door design, because within this kind of open layout, very efficient layout, I don't like when visitors are at home and when I open my own bedroom, you get to see whatever inside. I don't like it. So this is my way of concealing it. Also applies to the storage area. So this will be somewhat like a hidden door. And this is the example of the compartmentalization. I don't know whether is it a word, but this is what we can see within the storage area. So technically it's all blank. You can see here it's all blank. Okay, what we did is we split into half. This half is for shoes. Up there will be for stuffs. Then you will have a vacuum cleaner. If you have a robot, you also need to dedicate out the position, so you will have the right plug points where it needs to be. All this needs to be thought through first, which can be kind of stressful between couples actually, because everything I want more, right? So, well, that depends on who pays the money also lah. Because more means higher in cost as well. So you need to balance lah, right? You need to manage expectation. Here they propose the mechanism for it to be slide out, so they will maximize more space. And this will be the cabinet design for the other side of the wall. Okay, so this is where the kitchen side, and these are all the working areas. First, we need to determine the size of the fridge. Technically, I already buy lah. How many plug points you need? If you have a fixed location, then it's fine. If you don't have, then they will suggest you to have a flexible type. Then the compartments, then the design, then the color, then the edges, then the material of the board. Is it melamine? Is it plywood? Then the hinges, the material of the hinges. Wow, it's a total science altogether. So I am spoiled. My designer just freehand. I give them the free hand to guide them everything. But if you prefer to be more hands-on, also can. And the entire design process is kind of deciding the bigger stuff, not so big, medium, not so medium, small. So from the bedroom is like what's the size of the bed, what's your bed frame design, what's the curtain, all the big stuff, right? Then you will come down to the lamp, the shape of the lamp, the color of the light. Then for the fan, what kind of fan do you want? The conventional long blade type or the short blade type? Then the power track system as well, what's the length of it? And there will always be a recommendation involved with pricing, so you can make your decision way more accurately. And this is an example of how they conceal the bracket. So if you can see here within this wire here, these are brackets that is outside of the wall. So the wall, they put a wire, then they bracket out, right? How they conceal it, they use a wallpaper to kind of conceal it. From afar, if you don't know, then you won't notice it, but if you stay every day, you'll use it, right? Not so good looking, like especially the socket itself. The entire thing is just bulging out instead of built in within the wall itself. So it does a huge difference in aesthetic. And up to the most minor details like the design of the chair, the type of legs. Do you want steel? Do you want timber? Wow, actually a lot of decisions to be made. And after confirming everything, there will be a final confirmation version, right, where you need to sign off, and they will only build based on that. So the entire process is divided into three. One, you pick them as a vendor. The second thing, then there will be the design stage. This takes way longer. That shouldn't be the way to say it. Please do allocate a little bit more time on this if this is for your own stay. right? Do communicate. If there's 4 people or 5 people using the space, right, even more communication needs to be done, because most of the time a lot of people don't know what they want, but they exactly know what they don't want. And the worst thing is, after you confirm everything, you go to the site and it's ready, then only people start nagging about, this is not what I want also. Wow, the cost to correct all those kind of things will be way more expensive when it's done compared to when it's in this design stage itself. So please do spend some time, a little bit more time here. If you don't know, just ask questions, right? Don't be too afraid of people judging you, hey, this one too expensive, I cannot afford. It's absolutely fine. So that's like my favorite phrase of all, I cannot afford. Then only we move on to the renovation permit, we submit, and then the renovation work begins. So it has been about 3 weeks to a month. Now let's go check out the unit itself. So this is the first glimpse of the almost completed unit. It's not ready yet, but just to illustrate the points that we made in terms of changes to the unit lah. Okay, so first point regarding the smart lock, right? I am still not very confident. So maybe later lah, when I have opportunities or when I come across a brand that is reliable, only I will put one. And there you go, ta-da! So first observation, right? The first point is I got rid of the doors. So this one used to be a storage area. This is the bedroom, right? And to me, I don't like having a lot of doors in first glance. So what the team did is they kind of made this into a feature wall. This one cost a lot lah. But the main point is I made this storage area into something like this. So this is the part where we can put our shoes, stuffs, the vacuum cleaner and things like that. So this will be where all the robot is located in. That's why there will be a plug point here as well, we added in. And for the shoe cabinets also, it's slidable. So that's very convenient. So because it's deep, so the slidable function makes it more useful, no space wasted. And for the dining space, then it gets kind of technical, because if we just made an island, so option 1, right, we kind of made an island next to the entrance. That's one way where it kind of integrates into the breakfast counter. But we realized the entire kitchen area will be very, very compact, not as comfortable. But the good thing about the unit is, since the width from wall to wall is about 3.2 meters, that's why we have a lot more space to play with. And this is somewhat like the layout for their show unit. Like technically, my wife said that this is insufficient at all lah. Too bad lah. The kitchen, only way to have a bigger kitchen is to buy a new unit. Then future, wait, right? Be patient. What we did is to have another work counter here. So we kind of made into an L shape. And this can only perfectly fit like 3 to 4 packs at once. And this will be where they put in all the rice cooker lah, the microwave lah. That's why we also installed in the flexible pots. This is by line 8, then top and bottom cabinet. So these one are also all designed by the team in terms of size. And what's great is they asked and clarified the usage and purpose of spaces very clearly. So they also even get the height of my kid, because they want to measure to what height, right? Even though he will knock his head or whatsoever. So very, very considerate. And for my kid, we purposely made a play area which is not conventional. So there's no living space in this house. Every time when he comes back home, this is where we're going to hang out. Like you can see, this is expressed by the team. Very colorful, very nice. So he's a big fan of sea creatures, right? So you can see this is where he can put all his toys, and this is flexible. If when we get tired of it, we can actually just take them out and arrange accordingly to what we want. This will be the photo wall. This will be the door, the hidden door to the bedroom. And this is an extra storage. So as we mentioned just now, this width is nice, right? After you put in this cabinet, there's still 2.8 meters left, which is very nice. And I don't have a balcony. So this is like a dead end, right? So now this space is very, very comfortable. Next would be the plaster ceiling. I can have the flexibility to position the fan and light in accordance to my unusual floor layout lah. Another rule to take note is also regarding the sprinkler system, because this is a commercial title property, right? So whenever we extend, do remember to leave some space for the sprinklers. Yeah, yes, aesthetically it's not as pleasing, but it's functional. Okay, just accept it, okay? For the person who is always using the kitchen, which is my wife, I kind of install a mini fan here to kind of make the space a little bit more comfortable, and I altered the existing cabinet a little bit. So this is where I located the dish rack, and we purposely made it into semi-transparent so I know what is inside. Don't really need to open it to see what's inside. And we changed the tap. So this is what my wife specially requested for it. Nice. And the water system is in its way. I'll be using the Nash system. They haven't installed yet. It's about to come lah. The main reason is because we don't have enough real estate for the countertop really. We put in one more water filter, right? Seriously, this countertop cannot do anything. Okay, but in terms of feng shui wise, this is not very good lah. So water and fire together, right? So to kind of mitigate it, several feng shui references, we need to put in some mini plants here to kind of 化解, to kind of resolve the conflict between water and fire here. And this is something I learned along the way. I opted to put in some money and we included this all here. So this is the location for the wash tower. Also haven't come yet, and we put in a sliding window, frost it for privacy, and I added in a ventilation system. So this is the laundry solution. So we're gonna hang the clothes here, and we can actually use a manual lever to adjust it. Yeah. What I'm very pleased with is also the design of the cabinet is exactly like the drawing where it should be. Okay, so this will be the location where they put in all the modems and stuff like that, and they hide all the wirings behind. Jun, very nice. Even made the effort to kind of chamfer all these sharp edges right into round edges. And moving on, this is my room, the workspace. Before I make it into a bedroom for my son, right? So temporarily it's just like that, got him ready. I opted for blinds instead of curtains. I think it looks better. So they kind of have the modern design. This one also I don't know lah. Everything is done by my team. The only thing I requested was the flexibility of having the plug points. Moving on will be the smaller bedroom. So this is somewhat going to be just a storage room temporarily, or a guest room if there's guests. I doubt lah, I will send them to a hotel lah. But anyway, so this is a loose furniture to just put in some extra clothes or things that my wife don't need. Yeah, they're not very simple. Then we also just opted for a simple blind for the units looking out to the corridor. Okay, last but not least, this is the hidden door to the master bedroom. Yeah, so I kind of divided the space into two. This will be the wardrobe area or the dressing up area. So whenever my wife dress up, I can still sleep lah. Okay, you won't be irritated by the light or whatsoever. Again, we opt for the plaster ceiling design for the flexibility of light placement. Then now when we hang this kind of small fan, which saves a lot of space, that's great. And this will be the wall design. So it's partly wallpaper, partly vasari. Okay, so this is the Venetian plaster. Technically it's actually breathing, where it gives you that mild texture, but it's fine. It matches the overall tone, so I will be sending my mattress in. So again, the team gave me a lot of suggestions, and I really like this stuff, so you just check it out. This entire thing has a round edge to it, so this includes the cover of it is also round. Wow, because I also quite particular in feng shui, so Gucci only comes in curves. Then this will be the wardrobe space. A lot of storage space, and there will be a full-size mirror here, and this is where you can hang your clothes. Bathroom wise, what we did is we added the vanity, and again the designer made a very good suggestion, because actually these are all timber only, but when you use the toilet a lot, this is the first one to give way, so we kind of made this into a waterproof material. Great suggestion. Then these are just some add-ons lah. Okay, all the hangers and things like that, all matching with the aesthetics. And let's head back to discuss more about the cost and a special promotion that I'm going to give you guys. So not bad, right? And the entire construction takes really quick, because all confirmation has been obtained. That's why the workers will not hesitate to just execute the work. If you want to come and check a little bit here and there, right? And all progress will be within an app itself, so you can really track your progress. You don't have to really physically be there. This will be very friendly to people who are not within the location of their new place. And the most important thing that a lot of people will be interested in is the price, right? Ultimately, how much we have spent. So here there will be this VO. So variation order is this term within construction to dictate like what is added on and what is deducted out. So this is the term, what they call VO, variation order. First things first, we kind of add ceiling fan. We kind of I upgraded a few things. I added a lot of wiring works, okay, plaster work as well. Then for living space, I kind of opt for textured glass door, melamine finish. Then for dining space as well, I added a lot of things, and these are compared to the original first version that is confirmed with the consultant. So after that, after speaking to the designer, right, a lot of things has changed. So this version is compared to the very first version, of course. Okay, so ultimately, because the first version was about 40 over 50,000, right, and now the additional cost is about 100 over 1,000 here, as you can see, but we kind of deducted a lot of things as well. The total additional cost is about 80 over 1,000, and this is not standard, yeah. So please do not have the expectation that every renovation now must be at least 80 over 1,000 for it to be livable and things like that. So the very standard, right, the very standard makeover version is about 40,000, 40 plus thousand only, and that includes everything. So this budget here is really based on personal preferences, personal affordability, and I'm just open enough to share this cost with everybody to just highlight that renovation is not cheap lah. Just when we thought, property price, I didn't go up much, right? Inflation where got happen? But inflation takes place in most obviously within renovation, because the cost of material, cost of workmanship, the increase in cost is truly significant, right? So now just hopefully the bosses in the makeover guys will be a bit more friendly to me. And this is where it gets interesting, okay? Since we are in the end of the year already, and finally we can somewhat put this series to an end when we research to purchase, to research more, and we go through the entire flow of actually owning a property. It's not cheap, but it's not impossible. But as a gratitude for all of your support all this while, since I have extra budget from the earlier events that I've just threw for my 100,000 subscriber party, so that took off really well. And now I've decided to actually give out 3 slots. 3 slots where each slot is 10,000 ringgit of voucher in makeover. So in other words, it means that if you have bought your unit and you're thinking about doing your renovation now, I truly understand the constraint and the pain of doing renovation. Is truly not cheap. So since you guys have given me a lot, I've decided to somewhat assist or help 3 people smoothen this entire process of renovation by knocking off 10,000 ringgit in your home makeover bill. For example, if you're doing 40,000 in the end, if you apply this voucher in, so the final bill will be 30, or you can use that 10,000 to upgrade things within the unit also can. So it's entirely up to you. There will be terms and conditions below, so do read them carefully. It's drafted by the team in the makeover guys because it's a collaboration, because ultimately they are doing the work ma. But the way I'll be picking the winner is by having you guys share your most valuable lesson from the channel. If you guys have find value within the channel all this while, what's the main thing that you have learned from the channel? Because if somebody who have watched this particular video, he just needs to read through this comment section, right? It will shorten his entire learning process altogether. That's the objective. But the most meaningful one or the most interesting one picked by me ultimately in the end of the year, I'll be doing a dedicated video or post about the winners itself, and the winners will get 10,000 off their home makeover. Yeah, well, you're interested to win this 10,000, or you're interested to let me help you save 10,000 ringgit, do follow me on Instagram, subscribe to this channel, and share your most valuable lesson that you learned from the channel this far. Thank you very much for watching. Again, TNC applied. The link will be pasted down below, and I will see you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys.